Alright, video gamers, we have successfully one-shotted the Invincible, and I guess this game might have a lot of replayability because it looked like there's like actually a lot of different endings you can get depending on the choice you make, which is cool. But I'm not gonna do that. Once again, went into this not really knowing anything about it. I've only heard that it's like a cool sci-fi game. So I was like, oh cool, I love cool sci-fi games. That's why it's on my wish list. But gotta say probably I'm not disappointed about the game, but probably one of the least entertaining experiences I've had in a little while. It's just kind of like a game that doesn't feel like it excels in any way in particular, and arguably this is one of those games where you're like, am I even really playing a game? Because the amount of like game stuff you actually do is so little, and it's so inconsequential, right? I gave it 1/5 stars on Groovy. I don't know what that is, but that's good. I think 1 star is a bit much, or it's a bit little. Like a 1 star for me would be like this game literally just isn't a game, right? It's not even, it has no value. And I would say this has some value. You start the game out, and it's a little bit intriguing. You are you're on the planet. You wake up, and you're like immediately you're kind of interacting with your backpack in a cool way, where it's like you're like picking it up, and you're like opening up straps, and you're like holding wires, and like turning it around and pushing buttons. I'm like, oh cool, there's gonna be one of these games where it's kind of like a it's really like a mechanical it's gonna be one of those deep mechanical games, because it says on the Steam page, I think it says on the Steam page that it's like it's a story-driven adventure set in a hard sci-fi world, right? We're saying that this is something set in a hard sci-fi world. So I'm thinking like, oh, we're gonna use these hard sci-fi mechanics, kind of like maybe explore, to do puzzles, to survive. Maybe I need to I need to think about how to do these kind of hard sci-fi things in order to engage with the game. But then there's like no gameplay essentially, right? Like the gameplay is make choices, and it's like put things down, and that's all you're doing. And I guess while the choices matter to an extent, I don't really like for instance, it said we saved everyone, right? Like I'm actually saving or I brought everyone back to the ship, but we never went back to the ship. So like, why is that consequential? We didn't even that's very crazy by me. We never go back to the ship, so the choices don't feel like they have any like real weight to them. And then from the very get-go, you're kind of like, there's kind of like a mystery happening, but then the mystery never really evolves, but they kind of skip past it, but then they go back to the mystery again, but then they're skipping past it still, but then they're moving along. And it's just like I guess the entire thing here is I don't know why we went out to the planet yet. Maybe there's a flashback that we missed or whatever, but like we go down to the planet for some reason. Then we meet the amnesia bugs, and the amnesia bugs amnesia us. And then Novak is like in our head, and he doesn't tell us anything about what we've seen before, but he is a real person. He's not a figment of imagination or an unreliable narrator. So he should have heard us before we like, oh shit, there's some bushes here and there's some flies, but he doesn't like mention that again when he has the opportunity to do so when we mention it. So it's like like that just feels weird. It feels like we're doing like a unreliable narrator. Oh, is that a figment of imagination narrative? But we're not really doing that, so it doesn't make any sense, as far as I can tell, at least. And then we go through the game, and it's like introducing things, but then nothing feels like it matters or is interesting. It's like, oh, it's a cloud. There's a cloud, everyone. The cloud is okay. What's the cloud? And it's like, oh, it's necro machines. Like, okay, and then we get to the end of the game, and they just explain the narrative to you. We have like a 25-minute narrative dump where they explain exactly what has happened to you on this planet. Which, first of all, I don't even know how we make those conclusions, because I don't think we have enough to draw on. If I can't make those conclusions playing through the game, and experience what the character is experiencing. How can she make those conclusions? No idea. I guess she's just way smarter than I am. And there's something to be said for the fact that I practically skipped every optional exploration thing because I got bored midway through the game. But, you know, I shouldn't have to... Anything optional should be optional, right? That should be like, if you're really engaged in the game and you really want to like figure it out yourself and like, you know, do all that stuff, that should be what that's for. It shouldn't be like... And I don't know if it's like that in the game, to be clear. I don't know if that optional stuff does anything for you. I'm just saying that, like, that should be optional. It shouldn't be stuff that you need to understand the game. And then the characters aren't that interesting either, right? Like, I think the characters are well acted, right? I feel like the voice actors do a great job in this, but I don't feel like they're like interesting in the narrative in any way. So, you know, we have a game where the gameplay is non-existent, essentially. They did nothing with the gameplay. There weren't even any puzzles. This is just a straight-up walking simulator. And the pacing is extremely slow. It doesn't really go anywhere. The story is not interesting. The only thing I liked was the way that the way tech looked. Like, I liked the way like the machines looked and you know, the car, the rover, stuff like that. I think that looked cool. But other than that, it's just like I was so disengaged in the game. I was just like, when is it gonna end? Right? I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah. Are we gonna get to the ending soon? Like, are we done soon? Like, how long is this gonna be? Is it gonna be another hour? Because you never really like, it never feels like we're like moving anywhere. I don't feel engaged in the mystery. I don't feel engaged in anything really, and it doesn't even feel like the choices really matter throughout the game, right? Like, I guess they do matter. And I guess there's like a lot of different endings you can get depending on your choices. But ultimately, like, I don't know, if you're not making conscious choices, then why does it matter, right? Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Let's take a little gander at our thingamajiggy here. Okay, so boop. We played this for a grand total of the stream in the middle, but we played this for a grand total of 5.4 hours. So put 5.4 here. Something like changed when I did this. I would say, like, you know, I think this feels like a game where they tried. Like, I can respect attempting to do something a bit beyond their capabilities. That's what it feels like a little bit. It feels like they were trying to tell a narrative and a story that is like the building blocks of the narrative has potential. The universe has potential. The story happening here has potential. It's just that it felt like they were trying to tell a story that they didn't really have the like writing honcho to do. That's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like, you know, this feels like it could be really, really, really good, but it needs to be like an entirely different way they set up the narrative. And the way it is, it just doesn't work for me. I would have preferred, first of all, I would prefer actual gameplay in a game like this rather than just walking around. The walking around just wasn't entertaining, and a lot of the times it was just way too, like when that guy holds you at hostage, right? The dude that I don't remember the name of already. He holds you hostage. You're like walking through a tunnel like this for like 10 minutes. And it's just like, dude. And then you're sitting down with him and you're like talking to him for like 20 minutes. And just, it just feels like there's so much like empty space in this game. We're just doing nothing. And then there's just no gameplay, right? There was one gameplay segment where all we're doing is aiming a gun and going, but that's also completely inconsequential as far as I could tell. I don't think that actually mattered for anything. So, yeah. On the endless scale, 10 is the first masterpiece, 9 everyone should play this, 8 good experience for playing, 7 good play sounds fun, 6 alright play if you like the genre, 5 average, 4 still functioning game, 3 barely worth playing, 2 everyone should avoid this, 1 no redeemable qualities. I think, I mean, it's like, I think there's a spot where it makes the most sense. I'm just trying to think like where exactly I would put it based on my scaling here, right? Like, I can respect this as an attempt to make a really interesting story. I assume this is probably their first game. I don't know, maybe it isn't. Their first game like this, maybe. And I think they did a good job of trying, right? Like, You know, it's cool that there's that many endings. The endings themselves, like when we looked at the endings here, like these endings seem like they're kind of like interesting in their own way a little bit. Seem like there's that they have some merits, at least the endings do. I don't know why these are bad endings, but hey, that's not the developer saying that. That's some random guy on on a website on YouTube. I just want to see telling story, and even though it's largely box simulator, it's consistently engaging. I don't think it was consistently engaging. I don't think so. Jace already owns this game, everyone. Jace already owns it. I miss the marking two fundamental areas that makes it impossible to recommend it though. Moment is excruciatingly unpleasant, both walking and driving the rover, and the team clearly ran out of budget before they were able to complete the game, so no matter which of the several endings you get, it just stops without any kind of actual ending. Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. It did kind of just stop, that's true. If it comes to Asmus, maybe I'm increased in the way update where it was possible. The game was slower before? This game was slow. The movement was slower. Oof. Oof. Oh. I think they would be better if they were randomly shaking and spinning the camera around during cutscenes. That's a little different path of logic. Okay, so on our scale, I'm gonna give this like a, I'm gonna give it like a 4.5. I think I can't give this an average because like ultimately, you know, if you look at average and the next step is if you like the genre, I wouldn't even recommend this as a genre game. I would never I'm basically never gonna tell anyone you should play Invincible. Do I think this game has no merit at all? Absolutely not. This game is, it's like there's stuff about this that some people might enjoy, and they clearly do, because I mean obviously the game does actually have mostly good reviews, right? So obviously a lot of people thought this game was great. I can't understand why, but ultimately, is this a functioning game? Yes, this is absolutely a functioning game. I do not think this is barely worth playing. For me, barely worth playing has to be like, you know, that you know, we're like Golem level at that point, right? Like, is this game worth playing? Sure. Like if someone if play if you read a book, like the book seems to be the thing, sure. I think I think that's something that you could probably recommend to people that you know, if someone's like, hey, should I try Invincible? I'd be like, sure, go for it. Maybe you like it, right? That's kind of where I'm at with it. I'd be like, I don't think it's a good game. I don't think it has I don't think it has a lot of merit to it. But people like it, so sure, give it a try. Maybe you like it or not. I would probably tell most people, if you play this for an hour and you're not into it, just quit. Like you're not gonna like it. If you play for an hour and you're into it, then maybe this is just happens to be the game for you somehow. So that's pretty much where I'm at. Open, critic the. I'm invincible. 7.3. 7.3 rating on OpenCritic makes this feel way more reasonable, because a 7.3 rating for critics is basically a 5. I am Astrobot. Alright. Our video gamers, that's gonna be it for me. Hope you all had a good video game time. We managed to finish this game, so that means that when we get together next time, we will be spinning the wheel again, instantly at the start of the stream, so I have no idea what we're going to be doing. I think I'm going to institute a rule because most of the games on the list are mine. If I roll 2 games that are mine, the third game will be a guaranteed other person game. I think that's going to be the rule, so. Because we're not just playing Endaline suggestions. Let's see if anyone's streaming. Maybe Motti started streaming 5 minutes ago, that would be nice. Nope. Alright. That's good for me. I love you all. Appreciate you all. I'm gonna be back regular time on Thursday at 10:00 10 a.m. GMT +1. Schedule down there, local time zones, all that good stuff. We'll be spinning the wheel again, so we'll see what random game we come up with. If you're there, if you're full stream, join Discord, all that good stuff. I don't know if there's anything else in this episode. That's pretty much it. Invincible was a game. We just played the game together. Love you all. Appreciate you all. Keep fighting for us. See you guys around on Thursday. Bye-bye.